there, and
Well, it has like a bunch of recognizable voice actors, right?
Oh, yeah.
I feel maybe not necessarily voice actors from like acting world,
yeah.
but at least from
Fallout 2 had voice actors from acting world. Michael Dorn was one of the main guys. There were a ton of really.
I guess what's his name is probably in there.
Who?
Ron Perlman.
I don't think so, actually.
He doesn't.
I don't think
he doesn't do War. War Never Changes. It's
No.
someone else.
So the main character is voiced for the first time in ever
Right.
for a lot of these games,
Because they're usually linked.
and I think he does the War Never Changes.
Huh.
But I don't. You know what? Now that I say that, I'm not confident.
You have a dog, and is the dog the best?
You know, like, you get the dog, like, right the fuck away in the game, and he is awesome, but then, like, you can only have one NPC with you, and so it's either dog or it's, like, a voice-acted character who actually
Right.
interacts with you and comments on stuff that you do, and then you make decisions, and the guy reacts to it. So I feel
Dog,
like I'm...
dog shouldn't count to your thing.
Absolutely. I think he should just be there by default. But then, at the same time, like, you can order dog around and, like, get him to go fetch stuff for you, and so he's kind of cool, too.
Yeah, but it's like I don't know why, but I always like dog in post-apocalyptic
I
world.
love dog in post-apocalyptic world.
Exactly. I think fucking Road Warrior, like Mad Max 2.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Where it's just and it's just like because now we're gonna talk about Mad Max again. Because
Again?
we will always talk about Mad
It's
Max.
the best fucking movie.
No, but they were talking about the humanity of Mad Max himself.
Okay.
They're like how he has like a family in the first one, and a dog in the second one,
Yeah.
and then like nobody in the third one, and is like
Lost
talks
in
even
the fourth.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's kind of a neat like a loss of like he's a monster by the fourth one basically.
Yeah.
Like he's literally like I don't know if like any of the previous Mad Maxes would have like full on just been like, so long pregnant ladies, good fucking fuck the desert,
Yep.
goodbye. But like he was ready to do that. Like he
Yeah.
he stopped because he's the hero that we need.
Sure.
But but you know what I mean? Like I was like, it's just like he had like and they were like the dog in the second one was like he had a dog, you know? And I was like, that's what I
The opening shot of Mad Max Fury Road has him standing on a hill, overlooking stuff, talking to himself like a crazy person, and then eating a living lizard. You
Yeah,
know?
man.
Like, he's lost. He's gone.
I'm excited for they're gonna make another one.
I know. They're making two more, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're making two more, but apparently they're not gonna get to make the Furiosa project.
Really?
At least like the way that they said.
They wanted to do a whole spin-off for her?
Yeah, they wanted to do a Furiosa thing, but apparently Charlize Theron's schedule is not
Too busy.
is not something that they could do.
Damn it.
Let's see. Well, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe they'll make it fucking 30 years from now. 'Cause
They'll up the truck size of money that they're going to back up to her door, and then maybe
well,
she'll say
that's the I guess major problem is that it was profitable. Like it was very profitable,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. It was also a very expensive movie to make. Like it
Yeah.
cost like Avengers money to make, and didn't make Avengers money. Like it made money, but it didn't. It didn't get like Avengers made $1 billion. You know. Like,
Yeah.
Speaking of big blockbusters,
Were we going to talk about Star Wars? Because
I'm so spoiler free on Star Wars.
Me
I can't even talk about
the
it.
only thing I know is Kylo Ren. I don't even know what that means.
I don't
I
know
think
what
it's a
that
character. But
I was disappointed. I think we talked about this when the episode with Scott.
Okay.
When I bought the tickets, because you and I were going December 17th, so like a day before
Something
the
like that.
release, and because there was like a limited engagement one day before it came out, and I thought it was really really important for me
Uh-huh.
to see it first, because I was like, I'm all on the Twitters and the Facebook and the Reddit and
You
all that
are.
stuff, and I was like, there's no way that my experience will not get tainted unless I see it right away.
Mhm.
Like, it's either going to be everyone's like, it's so amazing, or
Yeah.
like, it's garbage. Like,
Even just being overwhelmed with those voices is going to taint your experience.
exactly, that's
Yeah.
it. Like, and I've watched the first trailer,
Yep.
which is really nothing. There's not even dialogue in the first trailer,
Nope.
and that's all. And when I went to buy the movie tickets,
Mhm.
like I said, and I feel bad if listeners have heard this story before. I just can't remember if I told Scott.
Uh-huh.
Sorry,
Sorry, listeners.
listeners. The movie poster spoiled something for me.
Really?
Have you seen the movie poster?
No.
Okay. So I
I've
don't even
been
know.
very careful.
I don't
as
know if
well.
I want, but I had to see the movie poster to click through.
Okay. I will take it.
You'll take. Well, I mean,
if
to
you
be
ate
fair,
this bullet, I
to-
will eat it. with
and
you.
to be fair, there's almost no way that like unless we like walk you in with blinders,
Yeah,
on,
yeah,
like
yeah.
you're gonna see this going into the theater,
Oh, I know what you're going to say. The black dude has a lightsaber?
right?
Yeah.
The black dude has a lightsaber, and I was like,
And he looks like a stormtrooper at the start. I think he's
Well,
in stormtrooper armor in
he's
one
a
of the...
stormtrooper in the trailer. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He takes his helmet off. He takes his helmet off, and he's wearing he's in stormtrooper armor, and he has a lightsaber and whatever. And I was like, God damn it! I was like,
Now you know.
Now I know. guess he's like a Jedi, or at least Force sensitive, or whatever. And like Scott was all like, whatever, anybody could use a lightsaber. But I'm like, but not on the poster.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, if he's got a lightsaber, he's probably going to be a Jedi.
exactly, or like at the very least, like Force sensitive.
That said, I do know, like, obviously you've heard that fucking Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher are like a fairly large part of the film. Like,
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
They're actually in it, and then Hamill is around a little bit, and then part of the film I think is like a search for Luke.
Mhm.
And I actually rewatched all 3 of the episode 4, 5, and 6 in the last month.
Are they
just
still,
to kind of
are they still great?
toasty myself up for this. They're better than I remember. I was like totally still enraptured. Like, of course, because you've seen them 100 times, and or at least I am much older than I was when I first saw them, and I'm much more into movies these days, I guess.
Yeah.
I kind of like approach them with much more of a critical eye.
Right.
And they're so good. They're still great.
Empire is fucking great.
It
Empire is so fucking good.
Star Wars has got its rough moments, and
Yeah.
that's true.
Jedi has its silliness.
Yeah,
I
too
find
much.
of them all, Empire is just like
The best.
sticks out. It's so good,
Yeah.
and even then, like we talked about that with like Terminator and stuff. Like I was like, I wish there's moments that I wish that I could like. I think Luke, I Am Your Father was probably like blew my mind, but I was like
Spoilers, motherfucker.
but I was like 7, so like
Yeah.
you know, like I didn't necessarily get to experience it like as an adult. You
Yeah.
know, like it probably I can't imagine my parents ruining that for me, like for no reason.
Yeah.
Exactly. The other one that I always thought of was when Terminator shows up in Terminator 2,
Mhm.
but is a good guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would have loved. Like, I didn't get to experience that because I was
Yeah.
like fucking 6 or whatever. Like when the movie came out, or early 90s. Like,
Yeah.
I knew that Terminator was the good guy of the second one when I went to go see.
Yeah,
the
and that
second
would have been a surprise.
Yeah, exactly. I was
Yeah.
like, if you would watch that as a Terminator fan, and you're like, oh fuck, it's Terminator.
Wait, he's a
And then
good
he's like,
guy?
boom, and then he's like, come with me, we want to live, whatever.
Mind
And you're like,
blown.
you'd be like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
imagine.
I do imagine.
Like it, but like that would be like probably I think one of the like most like best moments
Cinema.
of like not necessarily of a cinematic moment, but of an audience experience moment.
Yeah.
Like fucking the main bad guy of the first one just like busting in, and as an audience you're like trained, like you're like, oh, they're fucked now,
Yeah.
because like the Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator's there, and then you're like twist, and then he fucking saves.
So that was something that was wholly lacking from the first 3, which I haven't, or like episode 1, 2, and 3, which I haven't rewatched yet, but I kind of plan to over the next little while. And I know it's
Yeah, like a
I
month.
I see the curl of your lips, and I know that I'm gonna have a like a terrible time doing it just because it's so fucking poisonous.
Right.
But like, there's none of that emotionality in anything. Like think of in episode 6, end of 6, the fight between Vader and Luke with the Emperor cackling there. Like, the fighting is not that great. Like, obviously the sword swinging in the prequels is like a million times better, but it's so like unemotional and just fucking zippy. You just don't even care, and like Luke losing his shit and just wailing away nonstop. Okay, so here's another. This is great. Okay, so at the end of episode 6, right?
So if you're just tuning in, we're talking about a movie from 30 years ago.
That's right. And on this like geek pop culture immediate relevancy
Right.
podcast.
Okay, so at the end of
episode 6,
right, Return of the Jedi.
Right. Vader and the Emperor have spent a long time saying we need to get Luke with us so that we can turn Luke to the dark side. But that's like all of the Emperor's concoctions, plans. The second Death Star is basically to
like a
make
trap.
that happen. It's
Yeah.
a trap for Luke so that they can get him turned to the dark side.
Yeah.
And watching the films, there's none of that prophecy that Luke is going to be the one to bring balance to the Force, or that Vader is. I don't even know really where that comes from. It's got to be the books or something, because it's not
Right.
really mentioned in the films. But the Emperor is saying, like, we need to get him and we need to turn him. And then Vader, all this shit happens. Vader and him finally fight, and then he says, look, all of your like everything that's happened is according to my plan. I have succeeded. Your friends are out there and gonna die. The battle station is fully operational. I can feel your anger. When you take your lightsaber and put it in your hand and try and strike me, your path to the dark side will be complete.
Yeah.
And then he picks up the lightsaber and tries to fucking hit him with it.
Yeah, man.
Right? If JJ has balls, Luke is on the dark side in the future. What happens? Vader dies.
Right.
The Emperor dies. Not in the books, but like maybe the Emperor is dead, maybe he's not. Leia becomes aware that she has the Force with her.
Right.
She could go on the light side, and Luke would be on the dark side, and you would have balance in the Force, and it would be the fucking biggest twist in cinematic history that Luke is now the villain of the next 3 films.
Yeah.
And fucking Mark Hamill has been doing crazy villainous Joker for like 30
Yeah,
years.
no, he can play villain, no problem.
To a lot of people, like his iconic role is in fact the Joker, and not really Luke.
I don't think so.
I don't know, man. He's been doing that in way more movies than
but I don't think it's up there.
Yeah, it's up.
But I'm just saying. But I don't think it's
maybe that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
But I'll go back to it. It can totally happen, and like the seeds are all planted.
Like is Han Solo Indiana Jones, or is Harrison Ford Indiana Jones or Han Solo?
He's the both of them.
Exactly. That's the thing. I feel like Mark Hamill,
okay. That's fair.
Like I don't think Joker gets up there, but in no way does Joker like
eclipse
Trump fucking Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah,
but anyway, but my point is that the seeds are there for Luke to be the villain of the next 3 movies, and think of what a fucking like how pissed off people would be if that happened, and how if like part of the success of the main series is that you have this villain in Vader who he's there and he's a badass through all 3 movies, and when the final climax of the fight comes up and you're dealing with him, you're so invested in the character and the outcome because you've had so much time to get there.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had that same series of that same sequence of events where Luke is the fucking turbo badass and he's on the dark side now, and fucking nobody can stop him, and then if he can be redeemed somehow at the end of the next series, like how fucking amazing would that be?
Super fun.
There would be goddamn pissed off geeks the world over.
Did you heard about the? And again, I haven't really seen any of the trailers, but apparently all the footage in the trailers is only from the first third of the movie. Like, so they're like, anything that you think that looks like an epic fight or whatever else like that, they're like, nope, that's an establishing fight. That's not if there's a space battle scene, that's not.
I feel like I've said this before, but when JJ came on board and did the 2 Star Treks, those are better Star Wars movies than they are Star Trek movies.
Yeah,
to me.
For sure.
And if he can do that kind of a film with staying true to what Star Wars is all about, like we're going to be in good hands.
I'm excited. He built real sets.
Yeah, and put real people on those real sets.
Put a bunch of sets, built a lot of costumes,
and made them do real things.
Exactly, as opposed to just
that.
Fucking shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of giant blockbusters,
okay,
I finally got around to watching Jurassic World.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet, and I really wanted to.
It's really fucking good. Yeah. It's also really, and I was saying this is like it almost plays like a dark comedy.
Really?
Like there's a lot of funniness. It's never like ham-fisted funniness. Like you're just like. They're like it's like the script writers sat down and they were like, Jurassic Park is really about people making terrible decisions and underestimating dinosaurs. That's what Jurassic Park is about.
Right.
So they were like, let's just create like a series of events where like at every possible turn people make really bad decisions and underestimate dinosaurs. Like for real, Vincent D'Onofrio plays a guy who's like, we can weaponize velociraptors. Like, we can train them because they're smart enough to train them and fucking, like, deploy them in military situations. And you're like... But, like,
this is the worst idea.
Exactly. But you're like, this is, like, not, like, even... like, you're like, it's not delivered, like, funny or anything. It's delivered, like, this is the thing that we can do. And you're just like, but it's hilarious because you're like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, same thing, too, with, like, they fucking... they design...
Hold on. Does life find a way?
No, not expressly, but they go even crazier. So, because now like this is Jurassic World is a theme park that it's kind of like it seems to be set maybe in the near future.
Okay.
Because there's a bit of technology that doesn't really seem to exist, and they're way better at genetics. Okay. But at the same time, in the reality of Jurassic Park, we fucking made dinosaur clones in 1994.
Right.
So if you throw 20 years of scientific progress when we made dinosaur clones in 1994, maybe that's just where they're at now, right? In the alternate reality of Jurassic World. And so they decide to, because they're like, at this point, like, dinosaurs are literally, like, old hat. Like, they're like, the events of fucking Jurassic Park happened 20 years ago, and they're like, nope, we have fucking...
Did you see 3?
I saw 3.
And what... I feel like dinosaurs get loose in Manhattan. And
that's in
like
2.
That.
Yeah? In 2, there's a T-Rex that runs around. Around in LA.
So the world is, like, on board with dinosaurs.
Yeah, exactly. But, and I mean, like, and I was kind of like, would we really, like, allow this? And I was like, probably. Like, I was like, if you were like, oh, some gorillas got loose in the fucking city and killed some people, you'd be like, okay, but we don't need to just stop fucking gorillas from ever happening. I was like, that's the thing that happens when gorillas get loose. T-Rex got loose. Some people died.
People are going to die.
But then we're just going to build a bigger cage around T-Rex. It's going to be okay. So anyway, so it's been like years and years and years without incident, and they're now operating the park, but they're like, they still, like, profit margins and stuff. So they literally design a new dinosaur like a scarier, better
super
dinosaur.
Velociraptor.
Exactly.
Nothing could go wrong.
No,
Keith.
so it's
Nothing could go
exactly,
wrong.
and it gets more and more ridiculous how super dinosaur this super dinosaur is, because they're like fucking like for literally a throwaway scene. Like he uses this power once, or I guess she uses this power once in the film. It has camouflage. And they're like, what? And they're like, because we like fucking splice some cuttlefish in there so that it could like handle the aging process. It's like, what?
Why would you do that?
You're just like, but not only did they do it, it camouflages itself once. Otherwise, it just runs at things. Like, and then it's like suddenly killing.
I feel really sad now that I didn't see it in theaters. This sounds wonderful.
It's so funny. Suddenly, it's like just killing for sport.
Yeah.
And just Chris Pratt has like through a complicated series of progression, pressing on the fucking Velociraptor eggs from birth and stuff, is the alpha of a Velociraptor pack.
Amazing.
And then like, but the the super dinosaur is half Velociraptor, half T-Rex.
Okay.
Davi.
Right.
That's how you fucking make a dinosaur. And so it like tries
That's
to be
how genetics work, right?
It tries to be the alpha, and it's so funny.
Yeah.
And then like at the end, they're like, there's no reason for this to make any sense, but they're like, okay, like Indominus Rex, which
that's
is
the name of it.
Indominus
Rex.
Indominus Rex. Yeah, exactly. And like they even there's so much there's. It's also funny because they point out their bullshit and address it, and like they're like Indominus Rex, really? And they're like, have you seen some of the kids trying to like pronounce some of the names of these dinosaurs? Like it needs to be easy and marketable. And like like long fucking like dinosaur names are like doesn't make any sense. Everyone's gonna remember Indominus Rex. It's no problem. Same thing too. And they're like, why did you manipulate genetics though? And he's like, but like we've been manipulating genetics since day one. They were like Velociraptors had feathers. They don't have feathers in Jurassic Park. Like
nice.
They, they're like we've been fucking around to make it more marketable since day one because they look dumb with feathers. So we're like, let's just get rid of that. So it's like they established the fact that in between Jurassic Park, where we thought they didn't have feathers, and now we know they have feathers. They're like, yeah, but we just kept them without feathers because that's like Jurassic World brand Velociraptor.
Yeah. Wow.
Super funny.
I'm mad at myself now that I didn't see this.
And yeah, exactly. And at the end, for like no discernible reason, fucking Velociraptor and T-Rex team up to fight Indominus Rex. No, like I was like, how does this make any sense?
No, it makes sense because that's what you want to see.
Yeah,
you want to see these dinosaurs go like throw down.
Exactly. You're like, oh shit, 4 Velociraptor versus Indominus Rex. They're like, oh, but he has too much of a size advantage.
Oh, T-Rex.
I know, and they're like, unlock paddock 9.
Yeah.
And it's like, T-Rex. It's so good. They even like they fucking like they protect T-Rex.
Yeah.
In terms of like he is not in the movie until they're like unlock paddock 9, and the guy's like, are you sure? And they're like, we have no other choice. And it's like. Like the door, and it's like, and he's not the biggest badass in the movie because that's Indominus Rex. But I was like, they're literally like they're protecting like their star, you know. And it's like because you don't want him to be early in the film. You want like you're like, and I was like, oh, I would have loved to be like in a midnight showing of this to be like, oh fuck T-Rex, you know. It's just sort of like it's almost like nobody had even said like Tyrannosaurus Rex in the entire film, like they're like as though like they were like. But everybody knows he's around. Like, there's no way that fucking Jurassic World
doesn't have a T-Rex.
Doesn't have a T-Rex in its pen somewhere. But they've they protected his like legacy or whatever.
Isn't it nice that these movies are working? Like that this thing worked.
Yeah.
It's been like a sloppy hot mess, and
it made over $1 billion. The fucking movie fucking made hard bank. And they leave it open for a sequel pretty easily because they're like the evil corporation escapes with fucking dinosaur embryos, and like flies away on a helicopter, and T-Rex is just around. Presumably he's just doing his thing. But like fucking on every stupid level that an action movie can like fucking work on, it worked amazingly.
Awesome.
Like there was a lot less like science and fucking chaos theory than Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
But it like wasn't dumb about anything that it did, but knew that it was a movie about dinosaurs going crazy killing everybody.
Cool.
Super fun. And the reason we had to watch this was because
it's wonderful.
It was, but we needed to cleanse our palate after watching the latest Pixar animated film called Inside Out. Okay. So
how are we doing for time?
We're okay. We're okay. All right. I've seen I think just about every Pixar movie.
Okay.
except for the Cars ones. I didn't see the Cars ones.
I actually saw one of the Cars ones.
They're the worst ones, right? Like, like in terms of like if you go onto like Rotten Tomatoes or whatever, like the Cars ones are the worst. Anyway,
it was a fun kids movie.
Yeah, exactly. But I find that Pixar movies have often, I guess, been a little bit more than fun kids movies. Like there's a little more going on in Toy Story. There's like kind of like lessons and things, and they're not just like silly adventures. Like that's what kind of to me like sets them apart a bit from some of the other like the Madagascar movies and stuff. Like those are really like kids movies. I'm like, there's like real emotions that get dug up in like Toy Story movies and stuff. And
especially the third one, if I recall correctly, it's like you deal with like the kids giving up on the toys and growing
pretty
up.
Pretty much, yeah.
Whatever,
so Inside Out takes it fucking like one step further into the like making you feel all of the feelings. So one of the cool things about it is that it's based on actual psychology, which is that like all of your emotions, at least some psychologists theorize, are made up of the five core elements, which are joy, sadness, fear, disgust, and anger.
What about horny?
That's probably joy and anger with a little bit of fear.
Huh.
I don't know. No, but they're like they're like more complex emotions and stuff like that are just like meshes of those things. That's where like that's how emotions get defined. Like disgust and fear and like fear and anger and like you can kind of like see some of them. But anyway, this is like they're actual apparently like principles of psychology of like those are like the pillars of.
I'm not sure I 100% agree, but I'm curious to see where this is going. So
anyway, I'm just saying, but it's like I said, whether or not it's like I guess it's just putting labels on things. But anyway, so the Pixar film makes those five emotions like little people in your brain.
Okay.
Like so it like personifies each of the five of them.
Huh.
And then similarly, they use other things where they talk about like core memories, where they're like key points in your life where something like defining about you branches out from. Like a big chunk of this movie takes place like in the girl's brain, as she's moved from Minnesota to San Francisco, and everything is shitty in San Francisco.
Is this a kids movie?
Yes.
Fascinating.
And exactly, and I feel that a kid would go see it, and it would be kind of like an adventure movie, or whatever. As an adult, you're literally watching like the first real moment of a person becoming like an adult. Like dealing with fucking loss, dealing with fucking her friends being gone, dealing with a new school, dealing with whatever, and how it's like represented on the inside of her brain. Like there's like stuff like what happens to old memories, and like there's like a memory dump where you're like these are not important memories, and it's like getting rid of them. And but like some of the characters in the brain are like, but this is like her imaginary friend. Like we can't get rid of that. And they're like, well, she doesn't need it anymore.
Wow.
And you're like, oh. You're like. I guess so. Yeah. I guess she doesn't need it anymore. Like, it's gut-wrenching.
Really?
Like, hard to watch. Like, in terms of just, like, watching, like, literally the concentration moment of, like, and it's like such a good age. Like, she's 11. And I was like, you can kind of, like, something happens around 11 and 12 into teenagehood where you're, like, you start to become an adult.
Sure.
And it's, like, a lot of that is giving up on being a kid.
Yeah.
And it's like literally the movie is basically like the narrative of her like giving up on being a kid and becoming a more grown-up person.
This wouldn't be a film like I don't understand how this film could be like directed at children the way you're describing it.
Okay, so what actually happens is there's like a zany thing where she loses all of her core memories due to like a fucking accident or whatever else like that, and it's because the catalyst for the story is sadness starts touching some of the core memories, right? So it's like, which makes sense because she just moved, and because it all ties in with what's going on in the real world, where it's like suddenly thoughts of her friends are sad because she's not with them.
Okay,
you know what I mean? So it's like there's a little anthropomorphic sadness girl, like they're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, why are you fucking with this? Like, why are you fucking with this core memory? It's a happy memory. Right. She loves her friends, but like sadness kind of like touches them, and then she ends up like losing in her brain, like her core memories get like lost out of the like command center of her brain or whatever. Okay. And it's just, and then it's reflected in her going to school and like not being herself and just being fucking mopey and being like whatever. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, like there's like the adventure side of like rescue the core memories, but if you're watching it, you're like, oh no, she's not herself. Right. Like what's actually happening is sadness is now touching all of her, like and even the fucking message of this movie is like is beautiful. Like literally like beautiful. Like when I say this with like no, like yes, it's the kids with all seriousness, is they're like one of the things that they realize because they and again this also has to do with like actual like psychology, whatever. Complex memories and whatever, and having multiple emotions attributed to a memory is something that you apparently can't really do until you're much older. Where it's like to understand that like and like the characters in the movie kind of come to it where they remember like a super happy moment where like all the kids like paraded the main girl around on fucking shoulders and that stuff. But like sadness is like, yeah, but that was after we lost the like regional championships. Like we were really sad before that. And it's like a big part of the movie is kind of to be like, you can appreciate happiness more when there's also sadness, and like you don't necessarily need to ignore the sadness. And that memory isn't just getting paraded around; it's a really bad thing. And then your friends and your family came through for you, and that's why that memory is so poignant. Was because of the bad thing. It wasn't just getting paraded around fun times. It's like,
wow.
Fucking
really heavy for a kids movie.
Exactly, and it's done. And I really don't know. Like, I was like, how much of this a kid would catch? Like, but I told Sarah, I was like, the best way I could like describe it is like when you have like a really, really, really like almost a fight conversation with like your girlfriend, and it's not really like a fight about anything, but it's still like really, really heavy. And you're not even, like, broken up at the end of it, but you're just, like, drained. And it's not even, like, a bad kind of drain. You're just sort of like, I fucking just experienced a lot. You know, like, that feeling was with the movie. I was like, ugh. Like, I was like, holy shit. That was, like, some of the heaviest fucking stuff I've...
Dang.
It's, like I said, rough to watch. And not in a, like, not sad, but emotional.
Wow.
Like, fucking A+ Pixar. Like, I was like, this is... amazing fucking
film. It's not still in theaters, is it?
No. I can't imagine it, like, not winning an Oscar.
Really?
Like, there's no way that this doesn't win Best Animated Picture. Like, it's so fucking good. Like, they even, like, it's just, like, even just, like, bringing an abstract concept, like, sadness can make you appreciate happiness more. Like, I'm like, I don't even know how any movie that's really, like,
tried to tackle that.
Like literally shown me that in a way that's not like, and it's not even like ham-fisted or anything. Like it guides itself there like organically as the characters kind of like discover this about themselves. Like, and as the girl, and then it always flashes out kind of like to the real world. Like as the girl kind of like begins to understand that.
So like the focus of the film is on the like the internalized.
Yeah, the little like the adventure time in the brain.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It like and it cuts in and out of reality to show like the impacts of that.
You know, I have two cousins who are like right at that age. I think they're like 11. I think maybe the older one is 11. I'm gonna see them at Christmas. I'm gonna find out what these guys thought of that.
I should watch it with them. If they haven't seen it, watch it with them.
That's a good idea.
And then you can find out how they react. Like to be like.
That's a great idea. I'm gonna ask their mom if they saw it, and then if they haven't, they're gonna get that for Christmas. And if they haven't, I was gonna get them little Johnny Costers.
Exactly. One will possibly destroy them depending on how much they can fucking like how much they can handle it.
If they're emotionally prepared for.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. I was like, I really don't know how much kids would.
If they don't get the underlying stuff, and it's all lighthearted adventures of the funny characters in the brain.
There's definitely some sad. There's like definitely some sad stuff that would make kids cry, but like I said, like. There's sad things that would make kids cry, but like it wasn't the sad stuff that like got me in the gut. Like the inevitable, like obviously the imaginary friend, like when he shows up in the film, you're like, you're not going to make it. I know this because this is a Pixar film, and the movie is about her growing up. Like the imaginary friend is now helping the like little happiness and stuff. Like I know that this character is fucked. You know, like. You do not survive this movie, I know that. Like, that stuff didn't hit me as hard as the, like, this is growing up and this is what you have to fucking deal with.
Yeah.
As you, like life stops being fucking black and white, happy, sad. Like, you grow up and mixed emotions happen and, like, fucking confusing emotions can happen.
I'm fucking tired talking about this.
It's intense, dude. It's super intense. Like, literally, we, like, cleansed our palate with the last Jurassic World. I was like, we're like, what the fuck are we gonna watch? And it was, like, either Ant-Man or Jurassic World.
Yeah.
And we decided to head outside of the MCU.
Yeah.
We're just about done.
Yep.
I have an assignment for you that I'm also gonna try to do because I feel remiss almost that
you know how I do with homework, man.
But it's been 2 or 3 days, and I mean you didn't bring it up.